Thank you, Dr. Paul, and I wrote down some of those promises. I'm going to keep those. We want to move now into our question and answers from our esteemed panel today. And we'll spend some time with Q&A from the panel, and then we will give you an opportunity to come to the mic here in the center in a few minutes also and ask your questions as well. With us on the panel today is Dan Blanchard, who's president of the Louisville Grassroots Tea Party, and also Bobby Alexander, who's with the Central Kentucky Tea Party Patriots, and Sherry Quinn, who's with the 912 Project. Let's give our panel a hand for them. We didn't do a coin flip or anything, so we're just going to begin, and I guess we'll just begin, Sherry, with you, if you would like to go ahead and pick your mic up there so we can hear your question, and let's get into our questions and answers. Thank you.
We have several good questions for you, and I know that there are a lot of things that are on the minds of the people right now. And we're barreling right now toward a national health care system, and I think just the feeling I get is most people are in my sphere of influence don't seem to be in favor of this, but apparently there's enough people that we're moving toward this. What role do you believe that the federal government has in the health care of individual Americans? And if this bill passes, what kind of things would we be able to do to remedy that?
I will not vote for any increased federal involvement in health care. I think that what we need to do, I see Dr. Beard clapping, thank you. The thing is we have to ask a fundamental question. We have to ask, is the problem or are the problems that we're experiencing because we already have too much government or too little government? Too much capitalism or too little capitalism? I come down on the side of saying, yeah, we do have some problems, but I think the problems are from too little capitalism. For example, capitalism needs price competition. You go to the store and you can choose on price and it keeps your prices down. You go to your doctor and over half of what I do is already paid for by the government. If you're over 65, I charge the same as every ophthalmologist in the whole country. So there is no price competition if you're on a government insurance. But if you come and you're under 65 and you have Blue Cross or Humana, I also charge the same price as everybody in the state because you bought insurance, made a deal with an insurance company, and all the doctors that take Blue Cross charge the same. So you choose me only on quality and reputation, but not on price. That's not really a good system because competition's not working. But there are two things I do that insurance doesn't cover. We're always saying let's have insurance cover more things, but the only two things in my practice where the price has gone down every year for 15 years, insurance doesn't cover. Contact lenses, I'm about $4 a contact. I'm almost the same as Walmart and the 1-800 numbers, not because I particularly want to be, but because I have to compete. LASIK surgery to fix so you don't have to wear glasses. I do that also. It's much more expensive than contacts, but still my price has gone down gradually for 15 years because everybody pays cash and you have to compete. What we need in health insurance is we need to make health insurance more like term life insurance. If I have a heart attack today and I survive, my health insurance expires in 3 months, they might cut me off, they might triple my rates, they might now say I have a pre-existing condition. People worry about that. And if we as Republicans say, let's just keep the same system and don't understand that folks, good people are worried about that, we won't get anywhere. And we'll lose more people to the Democrat Party. But I also have term life insurance. If I have a heart attack today and I survive, my term life insurance doesn't go up. For one simple reason, because I have a 20-year contract. Ideally, health insurance reform would be when you're 20 years old, you would get a 45-year health insurance policy. You would have a higher and higher deductible. You would have to pay when you go to the doctor. You might have to pay $150. The thing is, one doctor might charge $145. The new guy in town might charge $130. The guy that's been there or a woman that's been there 30 years and has a great reputation might charge $180. There would be some price competition. but also you'd have it for a long period of time. So let's say when you're 38 or you're 48, you have a heart attack. If you had a long-term plan, your rates won't go up. But that's what we need. You get there through more competition, allowing insurance to go across state lines. You get there by changing some of the tax rules. They finally changed it where you can have a health savings account. I have a health savings account personally, and it used to expire at the end of the year, and I had to use it all up, which wasn't very practical. My kids, unfortunately, all had crooked teeth like me, so I've been paying the orthodontist lots of money, but I put money in the health savings account every month, so I can have a tax-free way of paying for things like that. It's a great system, and then I have to pay cash when I go to the doctor, but if everybody had a health savings account, that cash price would drive down the price of medicine. So there are ways of doing it through the marketplace. We don't have to just be against Obamacare, we can be for something, and so I think we need to promote free market solutions, not more government.
About a question from Mr. Alexander with the Central Kentucky Tea Party, sir.
I'd like to thank Dr. Simon and his group for all the great work you've done in putting all this together, Dr. Simon. Great job. Without that, we wouldn't be here this morning. I'd also like to thank Dr. Paul for being here this morning and showing up and being a part of this with us. As you indicated earlier, our country does have trillions of dollars of debt, much of it to foreign countries. What actions, and please be specific, would you take to reduce our debt?
Number one would be a balanced budget amendment. If you can't get that through, then I'd try for a balanced budget rule. Now you've seen how well they obey their rules though. They passed pay-as-you-go 3 weeks ago and they've already evaded it twice by calling it emergency. So they're not very trustworthy as part of the problem. But balanced budget amendment, balanced budget rule. Then if you want to get into the nitty-gritty of things, we'll start out with bigger terms. One, I don't see a constitutional mandate for education at the federal level. I would eliminate the Department of Education like Ronald Reagan wanted to. That used to be part of our Republican platform. I think that somebody finally took it out, but it is part of our platform. It should be. It's part of the reason why we lost a lot of conservatives who started to distrust us as a party is that we doubled the size of the Department of Education with No Child Left Behind. I think it's also a way that we can get a coalition is that conservatives like myself don't like federal control. The teachers all hate it because you've got involved with the teachers making local decisions. So we have people who aren't always on the Republican side that would come our way if we take a stance on No Child Left Behind and less federal control. So Department of Education. Department of Energy is only about 20 years old too. There's no reason for a Department of Energy. These are just things we could eliminate. Department of Commerce is often, some guy in Washington flying a rich CEO around who makes, the average CEO makes a couple $1 million a year. We're flying him around on a government jet over to a European country to try to help him with a business deal. There's no reason. I'm all for business, and I'm all for rich people. I want everybody to be rich. I'm all for wealth. I'm all for profit, but I don't want the average person like us paying to send a CEO over to Europe to work a business deal. And that's what the Department of Commerce does a lot. The Department of Commerce also has some things, and we have some other things in our government, like Ex-Import Bank and things that subsidize big business. They also end up subsidizing our enemies. We spent $107 billion federal money funding companies that do business with Iran. And we say Iran's a problem and a threat, which I agree, but then we fund U.S. companies that do business with Iran. Makes no sense. So we act like we're going to be really tough. At the same time, we're funneling money to companies that do business with Iran. Makes no sense. The other thing I would do, and these are nitty-gritty things, it's hard to go into every detail, is there are good groups, Citizens Against Government Waste and Cato, that have come up with big lists. There's a book called Downsizing Government. Citizens Against Government Waste has 763 earmarks that they think should be eliminated. I've taken a pledge not to do earmarks. And then Cato also has this book, Downsizing Government by Christopher Edwards, that goes through all of government and gives you 3 alternatives: elimination, privatization, or make it smaller. And it goes through the nitty-gritty of the whole budget. And I would work with these groups, Citizens Against Government Waste, Cato, Heritage, all of these groups, Bluegrass Policy Institute, that come up with solutions because they have smart people reading and looking through the budget to help us figure out how to come up with solutions.
All right, thank you. And now, Mr. Dan Blanchard.